Hey y'all, Grandma Rose here. Have you ever seen one of these? My best friend's son and daughter-in-law just moved here from Texas, and they gave me this dried fruit. It sounds like a gourd, and it may be a gourd of some kind, or a squash of some kind. I really don't know what it is, but they call it Texas okra, and it grows on a vine. Grow it on a trellis. I guess you could let it sprout on the ground. But grow on a vine, and when it's young, you eat it like okra. You slice it and batter it and fry it up like fried okra. So I don't know what it is, and I'm going to crack into it and see what the seeds look like. That's it. I think that may be all of them. Well, don't have very many to play with, but it's definitely enough to plant. It's all it's going to take is one seed to get a good vine going. And I'll have some of this to try this summer. This fiber in here is almost like a loofah. Not quite as filled in as a loofah, but it's probably a gourd rather than a squash. Isn't that interesting? Papery. It's not hard. I mean, it's brittle, easy to crack open. And that's what the fibers inside look like. You know, it's funny. I said this looked like a loofah. I looked it up, and it is. How about that? It's not the same. It's not the smooth loofah, which is solid and, well, not solid, but it's got a lot more of this fiber in here. Probably could get the shell off of this, the outer coat off of it, and use it like a loofah, but it wouldn't be as efficient. That's probably not the right word. It's got a lot more. It looks like it has a lot more open spaces in it than the smooth loofah, but it is a loofah. How about that? Learn something new every day. I have shredded this up. Got the inside of it. See, it does look like, I mean, it is a loofah. It's just a different variety of loofah. You can see this. Interesting. This is fascinating. Looking at the spongy part inside. This is the kind of thing that I studied when I was in graduate school. How did this grow? Look at this. One layer of this, the fibers are going in this direction, vertically. And flip it over. Let me turn it over. And on this side, the fibers are going horizontally. How did this grow? How did the plant grow like that? Isn't that amazing? This is the kind of thing that I just love. I studied plant growth and development. It's part of my PhD program. Very, very, very cool. Love it. Something else I was playing with. I was playing with things. Investigating may be the better word. You see this? They're like threads. And what this is in here in the spines. I was shredding this up to put it on my compost. And you see on here, working with one hand, kind of hard to do that because I'm holding my phone. But you can pull this out, and when you pull that out, what you get are these like threads, which I'm sure is the vascular tissue. The xylem and phloem, or the xylem probably. Don't know which doesn't really matter for this. And it reminded me of a class that I took when I was a graduate student at University of Texas. Native plants class, where we had field trips every class to learn to identify the native vegetation. Oh, flowers and shrubs and trees and all kind of things. One of the things that the professor told us was that the yucca, we all recognize the yucca with its candelabras of white flowers, was used by the native people for a sewing thread. I bet you the same thing could be said for this. When it was green, it would be a lot easier to work with. But you probably could strip off the ribs on this, and in a pinch, in a survival situation, you could use this as a sewing material. Interesting. Just a thought. I hope it never comes to that. But there is certainly a source for sewing material if you really, really, really need it. And there's the seeds. I found this on the Texas A&M website. Aggie Horticulture. So it's called Chinese okra, and it's related to loofah. It is a loofah, but it's a different variety of loofah. Or I don't know if it's a different species or if it's a different variety, but whatever. It is related to loofah. And what it says, it's in the cucurbit family. Fruits are strongly ribbed, elongated, cylindrical shaped, and may be more than a foot long. They're vigorous growing and similar to cucumbers and melons. The smooth loofah is without ribs and commonly known as dishcloth gourd and sponge gourd. So these are strongly ribbed, and that's exactly what I've got. It says plant the seed early in the spring after all danger of frost. Plant in hills 3 feet apart and rows at least 4 feet apart. For maximum production, trellis the plants. Cultural requirements are the same as for members of the cucurbit family. Fruit for consumption as a vegetable is ready to harvest in about 100 days. Allow another 30 days for the fruit to fully mature if it's to be used as a gourd or as a dishcloth. Fruit should be 6 to 8 inches in length and tender if it is to be used as a vegetable. Completely dried fruits are desirable if the spongy inside contents are removed and utilized. Fresh fruit can be stored in refrigeration for several weeks. Dried fruit can be kept indefinitely. So that's what this is. This is Chinese okra. Climbing okra, edible gourd. Mother Earth News. Let's look at Mother Earth News. Look how pretty. That's what I have. A multitude of uses for the okra, the ink. That's pretty cool. Okay, this is on the Mother Earth News website. And let's go back. If you want to buy some of this, here's an Etsy seller. That's a nice picture. So that's what this looks like. And here is an Etsy seller. This is the Etsy seller that has this Chinese okra, or the loofah ridge gourd, or Texas okra. So here's what I have. These are the seeds for this Chinese okra. Loofah ridge gourd. Cool. Yeah, they do look like loofah seeds now that you mention it. Okay, great. Now I know what they are. Bye, y'all. See you next time.